Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? So, our little mixed feeder, the placeable mixed feeder, mixing station, is doing a magnificent job. I have spent a little bit of time just stuffing in a whole load of bales and a whole load of silage and everything, and I'm having a job to keep up with it. But it's now on 82,000 litres in here, which means that it's only just over halfway full on the storage tank, and so we could put quite a bit more in here. We will be putting some more in, and that is one of the tasks that we need to do today. Before I go any further though, our weekly question. We're moving to Argentina in South America. Now, I'm assuming it's Argentina. I don't actually know for certain if it is, but it kind of looks like it from what I've seen of the trailers and the map and that. I mean, I suppose it could be parts of Brazil, but it feels like Argentina to me. So I'm going to say Argentina until I am proven otherwise. I'm proven wrong. And then I will say, okay, I was wrong. Just don't tell my wife, Sen, she'll have a field day if I go admitting that I was wrong. She really will. Anyway, that aside, 160 cows is what we've got here. So when we start in Argentina, do we start with 160 cows like we got here? Is it going to be sort of a are we going to be learning about how they farm cows and in turn teaching how we farm cows, that kind of thing? Or are we going to instead go for pigs? Are we going to go for 300 pigs and bring our past experience with pigs to Argentina and swap ideas on that one? The whole crop thing with the various different ways that we do the crops, that is purely educational. But the main reason for moving is going to be the animals. I think that's the kind of... It makes the most sense because that's what we've got experience with. I can see no valid reason as to why we would be paid by large corporations to go to South America to do anything to do with sugarcane, considering that we are in Poland at the moment. So yes, but we do have past experience with pigs and we have experience with cows. So... are we going to start the map with 160 cows, or are we going to start the next map with 300 pigs? It's your vote. It's your game. Head in the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And, of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. Now, I will just add that when we did pigs in Sosnovka, we started off small and we just kind of grew from there. So it did take us a lot of time and effort to deal with the pigs because we had small machinery. We're going to be starting off with quite a lot of machinery and several fields. I'm going to buy fields on the map, and I'm going to sort of get us as an established working farm, not starting out. So we're going to continue on. Whereas so far, it does seem to be very much a, we're starting out. All these different farms are just starting out, all the small equipment and stuff like that. So I'm going to go and buy a load of fields, and I'm going to give us a load of starting equipment. We're going to have the sugarcane machinery all there ready and waiting. We're going to have a sprayer that will be there ready and waiting. Trailers. Everything will sort of be established. We'll have big combine, maybe 2 big combines, I don't know yet. And it's going to be it's going to be stuff that we can just get on with and we can pick up and just carry on farming on a medium to big scale. So, some of the tractors and stuff that we've got here is stuff that we'd be taking with us, that kind of thing. And that's how I would like it to progress from there, at least on that map. Maybe on the next map after that, we'll go back to small scale. I'm not quite sure, but at the moment, we're going to go for this one, and it's going to be big scale, sort of medium to large. So, the top end of medium towards large scale stuff, which I think... it would fit better. I think it would it'd give us like a different aspect of how we do things, because like I've said, so much of the time is spent building up and desperately trying to scrape together enough money to buy the next piece of machinery, and I don't want it to all be about doing that. I'd like some of it to be about just enjoying the big stuff, enjoying the big machinery, having a bit of fun with it all. And we don't often get to do that, do we? Because we spend all our time building up to that point, we don't actually get to enjoy that point. And by the time we get there, it's time to move on to a new map. So for that reason, there's my reasons for it. I don't know how much land in that I'm going to have. We will have some money in the kitty, but we're not going to have a massive amount because we'll have all the machinery and everything there. We'll have the pigs there. And I may even adjust the amount of spare grains and everything that we've got in the silos sort of from previous years, so that it's there ready to use as and when we need it. And that, I feel, is a really good starting point, because then we can get stuck straight into the things like the sugarcane and looking at the new machinery, and just generally playing with all the new toys, because that's what this game is about. And I'd like to do playing with all the new toys as realistically as possible. And yes, I know that carting these bales around like this isn't exactly realistic. If you tried to pick the bales up like this, you would end up just breaking the strings. You could take 2 of them sideways on quite easily. You could even take 3 of them sideways on fairly easily. I know this because I have done this on a very, very regular basis. But carrying them end on like that, you wouldn't really be able to do. So let's just take a quick look at our machine over here and see how much we've got in it. 118,000 litres, so we are very close to actually filling this one up. I was kind of hoping to get most of it full now, but we are going to start going faster in time now. I want to get through autumn. I did say yesterday that I was hoping that yesterday would be it for autumn. We would hit winter and that would be it. So hopefully we can get through most of autumn now. We're on day 6, so we've got another 6 days after this. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then we're done, and we'll be changing it over. So rather than 4 days per transition, like we've got at the moment, we'll have 2 days per transition, which is each season. Obviously you got the 4 seasons of the year, but each season also has 3 transitions, and it's only at the end of a transition that you get a growth time. So you got 4 days where you don't actually have anything to do. If you have 3 days per season, you have a transition every single day. So some things will grow at the end of a transition, some things will change, like different points in autumn is when you have the leaves change, and different grass growth and things like that. So the transition is quite an important part, but the time between transitions, the only reason that you need a longer time between transitions is if you've got a big farm and you can't get everything done in a short transition. They advise you not to have a 3-day season, so you're having a transition every single day, purely because if you get bad luck and you get a couple days of rain in the summer, you're not going to be able to harvest your crops. You won't be able to do it, because you can't harvest stuff in the rain, but you also can't harvest stuff for a period of time after it's rained. It could present some difficulties if you're only running 3 days per season and a transition every single day. That's when it's going to start to get difficult, because you wouldn't have enough time to be able to make those transitions and do it all seamlessly and smoothly. Right, let's just dump that one in there, and see how quickly it's using up. How much have we got in here now? 142,000. So if we get another 3 bales and we drop them into the grass bit, the grass and hay bit, that should be everything that we need in that one. And it's the end of the day here. I haven't actually cleaned the cows. I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. We'll do that. We might just do that in the morning. So let's run these 3 bales here up. This field that we're working in at the moment, we're not planning to crop this one next year. We're going to use this one for an extended machinery storage area, something like that. And let's drop that in there. Right, that goes to 12,000. And that's actually... Oh no, silage is now run out. How much have we got now? 147. So 1 spoonful of silage should be enough, so that we've got that one completely full. Obviously, we're not completely filling up the tank sort of on the front of it, but we can do our absolute best. So let's just race in there. I know it's not very elegant, but we're about speed at the moment, and sometimes farmers do kind of abuse their machines like this, literally racing around like now the phrase I keep wanting to use, the blue ass fly, and some of you may think that is not exactly acceptable to say the blue ass bit, but yeah, basically it's a blue bottle. For those of you who don't know, there's a type of fly that is it's an almost fluorescent blue, and it's one that is related to fly strike, and their maggots will eat dead animals, but their maggots will also eat sheep. They lay their eggs on the back end of a dirty sheep, and if the sheep hasn't had the wool around its tail cleaned off properly, farmers will usually trim that wool on a regular basis, called tailing the sheep. And they tail them so that their muck doesn't sort of accumulate on the wool. And this is one of the sort of the byproducts of centuries of breeding the sheep for long wool, is that now they have this long wool, and so when they get into grass, especially first thing in the spring when the new grass comes through, they have quite sort of liquid excrement coming out rather than the normal sheep. Normal sheep poo is little round balls, and it's just like almost like it's like rabbit droppings, really. But in the summer, when there's lots of fresh grass around, it comes out a little bit more liquid than that. And because it's coming out a bit more liquid, it sort of hangs around. And if they've got long wool on around their tails, that basically it just sort of builds up there. And then the flies will come along and land on it, and they will lay their eggs on it, and the maggots will start eating the sheep. And it will kill the sheep. If it's not treated, the sheep will die from it. And it's not great, but it's a blue bottle which is responsible for it. Well, in part responsible for it. It's not always the blue bottle that does it. Let's just rest for another day a minute. It's not always a blue bottle, but the blue bottle is one of them, and they are quite frantic in the summer months, flying around. So the expression racing around like a blue house fly is a very, very common one where I grew up, and where I live. It's a very common expression. You hear it all the time. It's probably the most used expression to describe someone that is racing around. The other one is like a headless chicken, but a blue house fly is just running around really fast, whereas running around like a headless chicken is just, it's not going really fast, it's just sort of running around in circles and not really having a point or a destination in mind. So it's two similar phrases, but kind of different meanings on them, really. Right, our cleanliness is on 0, so productivity has dropped. Base food is at 22%, so we could do with putting some more food in for the cows. So let's go racing in through here. And if we don't actually get to winter today, I will just do it myself after this. I'm not going to just keep doing it like this. So let's just pick up a little bit of this, and I think we're going to have to put some more straw in for the cows pretty soon as well, which means that we are running very low on straw and hay as well, so we're going to have to buy both from the dealership. We're going to have to go up there, get some bales, bring them back down, and stick them into our sheds. So let's just grab another great big spoonful there. While you're fast forwarding time, it's very difficult to keep up with keeping the animals clean. It doesn't work very well. So we've got 18% grass in there at the moment with that. And if we tip that in, it's going to put the percentage of the grass right up. That's excellent. That's something that we want. And if we go here and we take a quick look at the... Right, everything is down at the moment, straw in particular. So if I go and get 3 bales of straw and I dump those in, and I'm just going to have a drink a minute, as I'm getting very croaky. Ah, that is considerably better. Right, let's go and grab... We're going to grab 3 bales of straw like that, and carefully balance them and run them back up to the cattle. And hopefully they won't tip off on the way, if we do this right. We just got to be very, very careful with them as we go. And then once we've done that, we need to get a tractor hooked onto the water trailer right there so that we can unload a bit of water in for the cows. And we also need to get our Ford with the trailer. Okay, that's not the way to do that. That wasn't part of the master plan. So let's just pick that up, and it's very difficult to get in here and get round. So if I go like that and tip it out, go on, let go. There we go. And then pull it back. Get that last one there. Do the same. Is it going to fit? Yes, that will fit there. Tip it out like that and drop in. Right, so we've got the straw in for the cows. I can also clean them up again here. Lower that down there. And another scrape through with cleaning them up. That's excellent. I know that we've left a little strip down there. It's not actually very much grass. You can see just from the quantity of it there. It's just not very much. So let's bring that one back. So we need to do water, and then we need to get the mixed feed in, and that will keep us going for another day or two. Base food is down to 12%. We just stop that one there, and we turn those lights off. So if we flick through to... Oh, I want that one there. And that one can just literally be sat with the water bowser on it. And that one will be fine. And then we can get the trailer on the Ford in underneath the mixed feeder. And that one will bring some food around for the cows. This is the kind of... See, I mean... I know that I'm quite happy to admit that I was wrong. And a few people did say right at the beginning of the series that I had it on too many days. And it was going to end up that we were going to spend too long on the first year. And we wouldn't be able to get to following years. It just wouldn't work. So, yes, I will admit that I was wrong on that. But, I mean, I don't really regret the way things have turned out. I think it was quite an interesting experience sort of working our way through this. Like we've done. So silage and hay, that's almost out now. So let's very quickly get through to that Ford so that we can load up. Because we're on 120 times speed, it's very, very quickly eating into all of that food. So we want to get over to here as quickly as we can so that we can tip a trailer full in. There's the green spot. That green spot is brilliant. That's a new addition in the latest version of this feeder. And... I'm not actually... I've had several people ask me if I could use a feeder like this in the time-lapse. I'm not actually going to in the current time-lapse series, but I will in the next time-lapse series because I really like this. I think this thing is really, really cool. Well, it might... Well, maybe the next time-lapse series, it might be the one after that because I was originally planning to do Sandy Bay. Now, I've been saying all along that I'd like to do Sandy Bay, but I've had so many people in the comments section over the... over the time that I've been running this particular series, and I've been saying about doing Sandy Bay, I've had so many people saying, could I not do Sandy Bay? Could I do, what's it, West Coast, the new one by Bullet Bill? I think it's West Coast. A lot of people have been asking me to do that one. A huge number of people have been asking for Cobra Park Farm. That one is probably the most requested one. So... because of the number of people that have been asking for these other maps, I'm seriously considering... Well, I'm not seriously considering. I'm actually going to. It's not consider anymore. I'm going to put it up for a vote. I'm going to try to get people who watch the actual time-lapse to put in a vote as well. I'm going to do a quick tour of the maps in question, and it will be the Sandy Bay. Obviously, I'm going to look around Sandy Bay because that's still my personal... preference because I played Sandy Bay as a Let's Play in FS15 and I absolutely loved that map. There was something very appealing about it. It felt very familiar, but I guess it's partly because I grew up in an area that looked very, very similar to what Sandy Bay looks like, and so because of that, it's that familiarity that I've got with it, and that's what appeals to me about it. But I mean, Cobra Park Farm has also got similarities, and so does the West Coast one. So there's those those three maps will be up for a vote. But I'm also going to include, it's not Emerald Valley, it's Pacific Inlet or something like that, a logging. It's purely logging map. It's got a BGA on there, and it's got a grain sell point. I did put it up as an option for doing... Right, hang on, let's just skip the night again. Yeah, when I was asking you about the different maps, I did put it up as an option for doing a Let's Play on. Have a logging map that is completely covered in trees, and then as, like, the last bit of the map, well, not as the last bit, but what we would do is we would cut down the trees and we would make ourselves an area and start farming it. So literally plow up our own fields and everything. And they have... seen that a lot of people like that idea, and so they've included a grain sell point and a BGA and stuff like that. You don't have animals on it, so it would only be arable and BGA silage, but I thought that would be really, really good for a time-lapse, so I'm also going to be offering that as a time-lapse option, and I will see what the response is to that as a time-lapse option. So if it doesn't win, but it's still quite a popular idea, I might do that as the final time-lapse, because there'll be two more time-lapses. That's what we've got time for now. The one that I'm doing now, if I aim for 44 episodes like I've done previously, 44 episodes will have us finish about the middle of the second week of December. And so then another episode after that will take us through until another series, well, two more series, will take us through until the release of FS19. So I've got 2 more series, basically, with the time-lapse. So we'll finish up Dowland Farm, and then is another one that we'll run through to completion, and then another one that will run through until the release of FS19. So I've got to pick them out very carefully, because obviously we spend a lot of time on those maps, and it's a decision that I never take lightly. It's something that I think about very, very carefully. I spend a lot of time carefully considering what the various pros and cons of the map that I pick has got, and how well it's going to work in time-lapse. A lot of people said they'd like to see this map on time-lapse. Personally, I don't think this one would work very well. Because of the huge number of trees in the small fields, I would have to spend a lot of time. I'd have to do a lot of adjustments to the camera as I move, and that's something that I got to take into account, because when you time-lapse, when I do my time-lapse, the video ends up being about, what is it? It's like 20 to 30 times faster than real life. And well, anywhere from like 10 to 30 times faster than actual speed. And if you're having to move your camera around like this every time you sort of turn a corner on a very small field, if I'm constantly doing that so that I don't have the trees in the way and I can see what I'm doing, it's not going to make a very good time-lapse. In fact, it's going to make an absolutely awful time-lapse, because it's not going to work. It's not going to allow you to see properly. It's going to become a blur, it's going to have a lot of shaking in the camera, and it's going to be really, really frustrating and annoying to watch. It's absolutely going to be unpleasant to watch. So for that reason, a map like this would, I mean, in theory it sounds really cool, but because of the huge number of trees and everything, unless I was to go around as one of my first jobs and remove every single tree on the map just about, it wouldn't work. One of the reasons that I've done so much logging on Dowland Farm, and some of you have said you didn't like the fact that I cut down all the trees alongside the roads around the entrance and everything, is because every time I go past there I've got to adjust the camera. And having to move the camera every single time I go through was giving me a result that I wasn't very pleased with. It sort of ended up giving an effect where the camera was starting to get a little bit shaky. I'd like to kind of keep the camera in the same position as I travel. And so that resulted in, because those trees were there and I was having to constantly adjust the side that the camera was on so that I'm not constantly just behind the tractor and looking at the very back of the tractor, that's what the issue was. So what I ended up doing was I removed a huge number of trees off of the map around the main farm where I do most of my travelling, so that I wouldn't have to constantly move the camera around. I can now leave the camera in one position for a lot of the travelling time and things like that, which gives a better overall result. And that's something I do have to take into account when I'm looking at various different maps, and that's why I wouldn't be able to do this one. Possibly Lostberg would work, and there's still a lot of trees on that one, but there's, I could find ways around it. Some of the trees would definitely have to go. I would definitely have to get rid of some of the trees, but I could still make Lostberg work reasonably well. But that's all, in the future. I'm not going to do Lostberg as a time-lapse. I might do that as a Let's Play. We will have to see. I'm not quite sure at the moment. So we are fast approaching the end of another day. So it's day 8 freight yard for potatoes. So now we've got a great demand for potatoes. We don't actually need a great demand for potatoes anymore. We could do with... Well, actually, it doesn't really matter. We've got some crops in storage, which we will be selling. And I'm now using up a little bit more of the hay. And we don't have a lot left. I've got, what, 6... I think it's 8 bales left there, maybe 9. There's not a lot of bales left. There's definitely not going to see us through the winter. I mean, we've got some to see us through some of the winter, but we're not going to have enough to see us through the whole winter, so we will be buying in more. But what I'm actually wondering is if we can, because obviously we'll go with our autoload trailer, and we'll pick up the bales from the dealership. Couldn't we come down here and just literally offload the bales straight into that machine so that we don't have to worry about keeping them in storage? I know that's not, 100% realistic, but it could work. I mean, I see no reason why it wouldn't work. Now, this is definitely not being realistic. Let's at least do this a little bit sensibly. And come back like that. That's my timer going off. So we haven't quite made it through to winter. I will make sure that I am at winter before next episode. So let me just turn some lights on here. We can see what we're doing. And can I put that one on top of there? And will the spike go right the way through? I think these spikes on this one are quite short. Yeah, they are. It's not going to have it. So if I can drop that one on there. This is not a particularly good angle to see what I'm doing because of the whole flat screen 2D effect that you can't quite see properly. Well, I've got 3 bales. That's not perfect. That's not exactly how we wanted to pick them up. But it'll do. We can cope with that. My question for this week. We are moving to South America soon. It will be November. I think it's November the 13th. That the new DLC, the Platinum Edition, Farming Simulator 17 will be released. And as soon as it's released, we're moving to South America to go onto the farm there in South America. And we are going to, what are we up to? 105,000. We've got plenty on here. Let's skip another night. Yeah, we'll move to South... there we go. We'll be moving to South America. When we get there, how would you like me to start the map? Would you like me to start with 160 cows? I will have all the necessary machinery that I need to look after whichever creatures we have. So do you want it to be 160 cows, or do you want it to be 300 pigs? One or the other. It's your vote. It's your game. Head in the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And, of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. And let me just come through here and pick this up. We did experience a little bit of a lag spike then. I'm not quite sure why. It might just have been the mixed feeder catching up with itself. On the other hand, it may have been something else entirely unrelated. I'm not quite sure. So, oh, we did... No, I know what it was. That lag spike was... We are now on day 9, which is... So we've just gone through a transition, which means that some of the map will have updated for crop ripeness and stuff like that. Just move through back out here, and then we'll just quickly show you the map. That's why we had that lag, because we're running on 120 times speed. It takes a little while to sort of catch up and update everything, but there is everything updated now. So everything is now ready to harvest here in the final stage. 4 days left of autumn, and then it becomes winter. Come out round here. I need more straw for the cows. The cows are starting to use more and more straw every single day, and that is a slight difficulty because we don't have very much straw either. I mean, we've got more straw than we've got hay, but we're going to be using an awful lot now through the winter. So let's just grab... I'm literally going to try to balance as many as I can, and picking them up like that apparently doesn't work. These bales are terrible. I really should... You know, this is supposed to be a realistic series, Frith. Come on. I ought to take this a little bit more seriously. The main reason that I'm rushing this, as you know, is that I want to get through to winter. I want to get through to the winter so that we can get started on that, and then we can, you know, do the planting. We still got to join a load of fields together and stuff. So we want to cut down a load of trees. We want to chip them up. We need to move the chips out the way and get them finished with. And then once we've done that, we've then got to go and get everything planted after we've joined our fields together, and hopefully get them harvested as well. We may not have time to do everything that we're hoping to do, and because of the way... Ooh, is that bale going to hold? No, I didn't think it would. Because of the way that the grab picked up the top bale, it kind of decided it didn't like it in the end. So if I go like that, tip that one off there, then I can pick it up again, and like that, pick it up on top of here. I'm determined to do this. I'm going to get 3 bales at once up to the cattle, even if I've... Actually, I don't really want to do it like that. I want to do it like this. This is how I have done it so many times. Not just in-game, in real life as well. 3 bales, one on top of the other. It's this grab. It won't let go. And that's actually quite true to real life as well. The number of times that I've had a grab that will not let go of a bale. You drag the thing along the ground and it will not let go. It won't relinquish its hold on the bale. It's really frustrating as well. So yeah, that bit is actually kind of more realistic than you realise. Different types of bale spikes. Some of them will slide in and out of the bale really easily, but others, it can be a bit of a job to get them to let go of the bale. Especially ones like this. This muck grab, because it's got loads of tines on it. It's actually... Oh, A tractor in a way. Okay, let's just quickly... Nope, I can't even do that. So let's go like this. There we go. And if I tip that bit out, there, then we can pull forward. And then I've got to go because I've run out of time. So if you enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And we'll move over to here. This is it. I'm not going to be doing any more of the feeding of the cows and so on and so forth. Tomorrow I will get through until winter so that we can actually do our next stuff. Because quite frankly, we've just been repeating ourselves today, doing pretty much what we did yesterday, which is not what I actually planned to do. I plan to actually have a bit of variation and stuff in our videos. So what have we got now? Let's quickly go up through. Actually, that's not too bad. That will see us through until tomorrow with ease. So that will take us through to the 10th. I've just got to get through a couple more days, and most of it will be relatively straightforward. We've got most of what we need in the mixed feeder. And then we've got to see about getting some bales in there as well, haven't we? Right, I need more silage in there now. That's what I'm going to have to do. Right, so yes, until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.